Today I'm going to be reviewing a piece of equipment I've been waiting a long time for, the Fringer FX to EF autofocus adapter. The claim with this adapter is to allow full autofocus and image stabilization for your Canon lenses on your Fujifilm cameras, a claim I'm eager to test out. The adapter comes in a nice cardboard box. Opening up reveals a printed out manual which you can get online anyway. The packaging is of very high quality, which is what you should expect considering the price. The adapter comes with front and rear plastic caps. The front and rear mounts, along with the body, are made from high quality metal. You can definitely feel this in the hand. The adapter weighs in at 133 grams. Inside the adapter you can see a standard set of EF lens pins. There's also a micro USB port for updating the adapter's firmware. The exterior of the adapter is fairly plain. Because this is the Pro version of the adapter, it features a clicky aperture ring like those found on native Fujifilm lenses. Testing the adapter here with the 35mm EFS lens, the mounting procedure is the same as that for mounting on a Canon camera. Similarly, mount the adapter on your Fuji camera as normal. Turning on the camera, straight away you can see that the aperture ring works perfectly with this lens. Autofocus for photography works pretty well on this lens. I should note here that using a smaller autofocus point on your camera can cause issues when shooting. The manual recommends using at least a medium-sized autofocus point, and I can confirm that from experience. One notable feature of the 35mm EFS lens is that it comes with an integrated macro lighting ring. This too works fine with the adapter. This is all well and good, but how does the lens work in the real world? To test that, I went to the Australian War Memorial. The memorial is rather dark, which gave me a great opportunity to test out the 35mm image stabilization. Shooting some video shows that the lens's image stabilization is definitely working. The continuous autofocus for video manages to work fine too. Taking some photos with the lens was also a pleasure. Fujifilm currently only makes one prime lens with image stabilization, which is a real shame. A shot like this was taken at 1/8 of a second, which simply wouldn't be possible without image stabilization. If I'm going to be honest though, the main reason I got this adapter wasn't for lenses like the 35mm prime. Fujifilm's current lens lineup suits me fine. I was more interested in using one of these, the Canon 400 5.6L. The 400 5.6 is a legendary lens amongst bird and wildlife shooters. It's renowned for its fast autofocused and super sharp image quality. Fujifilm has a 100 to 400 zoom lens, which would compete with this lens. Unfortunately, that lens is overpriced. Currently, it retails for around 2,600 to 2,200 Australian. Getting a good deal on a used copy is basically impossible because there are so few on the market. The 400 5.6L on the other hand has been around forever. Used copies can be had for around $900. Throwing on another $400 for the adapter still only brings it up to $1,300. But all of that wouldn't matter if the 400L didn't work well on Fujifilm cameras. From my extensive testing, I found just the opposite. When using single point autofocus, the lens focuses fast and accurately. Certainly not as fast as on a camera like the 7D Mark II, but fast enough to get the job done. The lens would also occasionally front focus, which, whilst frustrating, can easily be corrected by refocusing the lens. There is one significant drawback. Autofocus tracking is basically useless. When tracking is engaged, the frame rate drops from the maximum of 11 frames per second down to around 5. While focused acquisition seems to work fine, the hit rate is pretty bad. I've only managed to get 2 or 3 shots in focus. My conclusion on this adapter is complicated. On the one hand, this is brilliant. It allows an enormous number of great Canon lenses to be used on your Fuji cameras. Canon has a lot of niche lenses like Super Telephoto, Tilt Shift, Super Macro that Fuji haven't developed yet. Whilst the performance can be mixed, this is really a great option. On the other hand, outside these use cases, I'm not sure I can really recommend it. Fuji's standard lenses are really great, and for the most part decently priced. Spending another $400 for an adapter to use Canon's 35mm 1.4L lens for instance, doesn't make a lick of sense when Fuji uses crop sensors for their X-mount, and already have a great 35mm 1.4 lens. So I can either highly recommend or dissuade someone from using this adapter depending on their situation. Ultimately, you'll have to be the judge.